lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the party, roll up to the...
Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. This morning it is Friday, it's one day closer to the weekend and it's one day closer to Celtic play Dundee United. I'm going to tell you who's in the VAR studio for the game this weekend. I think it's going to be important to watch the VAR situation. Hopefully that's not called into action this weekend and hopefully that there's no honest mistakes by the VAR people. But anyway, before we talk about that, I'm going to talk about a couple of goalkeepers. There's a goalkeeper that's at Celtic that's loving it, and there's a goalkeeper that would like to be at Celtic, and there's noises coming out of Leeds that a certain goalkeeper may be running down his contract to try and push through a move to Celtic after Celtic were priced out the market for that goalkeeper. But before we talk about that goalkeeper, we need to talk about another goalkeeper that is currently at Celtic. We're going to listen to Kasper Schmeichel and just how he is loving life at Celtic just now.
I've loved it. It's everything I've been looking for. I love the fact that we come in from a win and it's expected.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, everyone's obviously happy and buzzing and all that, but it's like, well, no, this is what we do here. We win. And anything other than a win is a catastrophe. And I think that's the kind of pressure I've never played under, really. Yeah. So to have that that was what the kind of thing I was looking for.
That must be actually really nice for you, because your mentality, the way you are as a professional, a winner, a leader, somebody who likes to do it properly, are you surrounded with like-minded people now?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think I felt so at home from day one, is because that is my mentality, and I've just come into a winning culture that is just so driven, so ambitious, and like I say, anything other than victory, and victory in like playing well is just not accepted. And I think for me that's such a different challenge than anything I've ever experienced before, because it's about winning and not conceding ever.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of pressure is sort of because you have to be faultless in every single game, and to have that kind of pressure, I just love it.
So it's good. It's not often that you hear a current Celtic player talking about the pressure and how the fact that he's loving that pressure. You know, it's quite an open and frank interview with Kasper Schmeichel, which is it's really good to listen to.
That league, I don't know, a draw, mate. He's had a draw in there.
We had a draw against Aberdeen, which we were not very happy about.
And what about the city? How are you finding Glasgow? I was chatting to Fozzie on the way up, saying I've spent a bit of time up there, and it's some city.
It's a great place. Honestly, I've been so positively surprised, maybe to say, but I mean it's a really great place to live. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. People are nice. Everyone's welcomed me. Even like when I've met Rangers fans, they've all been not necessarily nice, but they've always been respectful and I think
not necessarily nice. You see that?
It's a great, they've had a bit of banter and that, and I think that's a great way of doing it. But I've really enjoyed it, and I am really enjoying it.
Anyway, that's Kasper Schmeichel and the fact that he's loving life at Celtic. It was interesting that he spoke about Rangers fans and the fact that they're not very nice sometimes, but at least they're respectful. Yes, right, let's move on to some Celtic news this morning. Before we do that, the Celtic news, Celtic do enter in an away trip to Dundee United this weekend. Yes, and the referee this weekend will be David Dickinson. He's the referee this weekend. Callum Spence and Craig Ferguson, the linesmen. But when it comes to the big decisions, yes, this game will be scrutinised more than any other game this weekend. Rangers fans will be tuning in to make sure that there's no dodgy decisions given Celtic's way, and they'll be watching it en masse just to see how VAR treats Celtic this weekend. I think that there's going to be massive pressure, and it's pressure that should not be put on a referee. I think this week what they have done is they're making sure that every single game now for Celtic comes under massive pressure from the officials, which I think when you look at I've just put a video out this morning, and I'll link it at the end of this video, but it shows you some of the penalty decisions that didn't go Celtic's way over the years. The one with Barry Ferguson, two-handed. Yes, if Barry Ferguson wants to talk about it, we'll show him the video. Show him that video this morning where he makes a two-handed stop in the box. There was no penalty given though, was there? And another one with Neil Lennon. Yes, Neil Lennon getting taken out in the box at Ibrox, and you're never going to get a Neil Lennon penalty at Ibrox, are you? And then there's the Sean Maloney one. Yes, Sean Maloney taken straight out the game by Davy Weir. But Davy was a good chap. He would never do anything like that intentionally. He was one of us, wasn't he? Anyway, go and watch that video after this one if you've not watched it already. And in the VAR room this weekend is Gavin Duncan. He'll be scrutinising and looking at every single decision. You know what's going to happen. As soon as Celtic score a goal, they're going to go back 4 levels of play and check every single movement. You know, check every single movement. And there's also Andrew McWilliam in VAR also. So it'll be interesting to watch that and see how they react. Celtic are obviously sitting top of the league with 43 points and a goal difference of 40. There's nobody catching us this season. Not with that goal difference. Celtic have extended their goal difference way over Aberdeen, who were running us close up until we played them in the semi-final, and they've just disappeared, haven't they? But that's enough about Aberdeen. It is all about Celtic this weekend. When you look at there's a game tonight actually, there is a game tonight. Motherwell entertain Kilmarnock. That'll be an interesting one because Motherwell will be. I'm going to go for a Motherwell win with that because they'll be wanting to keep the pressure on the Sevconians, even though they've got Rangers managed to get a game in hand. Which is interesting for Motherwell. But anyway, Celtic do go to Dundee United. It is a Sunday game. It is a 12 o'clock kickoff up in Dundee with those terrible toilets at the way in behind the goal. Oh, they just crack me up, those ones. But anyway, there's another transfer story that's kicking about Leeds this morning. Yes, Leeds. And it's still all to do with the goalkeeper that is... looks set to finally leave Liverpool. Leeds have been in for Kelleher, it said, and they've been linked with him, but they fear that they could not afford what Liverpool wanted for him. But they have said, this Leeds United news site has come out and said that Leeds have been in for Kelleher, but someone was just out of their price range for the time being. This guy, Graham Bailey, goes on to discuss the situation, and he says that there might be chances that he could move at some point in 2025. But Kelly is going to be expensive. Last year he was linked with Celtic, and Celtic were priced out of the equation. And he also goes on to say, I think that Leeds are doing their homework with the goalkeeper, but he's concentrating on Liverpool until the summer, then he'll have his pick of clubs. It goes on to say, it wouldn't surprise me if he tries to push through a move to Celtic, which is an interesting one. They come out and say, it wouldn't surprise me if he, talking about the keeper, tries to push through a move to Celtic. With the fact that next year would be... Kasper Schmeichel's last year. I don't think Kasper will do more than the 2 years at Celtic. If Kelleher does run down his contract, and he is contracted to Liverpool until 2026, so come this summer, he'll have 1 year left on his contract, which means his valuation, I think he was valued at £15 million or something, when Celtic were linked with the Irish international goalkeeper. I think when you look at it, if he runs down his contract, he could be a player that Celtic get for very, very little money. And maybe that's been the plan all the time. Obviously, the players went, no, I want to go to Celtic, but Liverpool have priced him out of the market, saying like 15 million for a backup goalkeeper. And Celtic are never going to pay that. But if that comes down to about half, and the goalkeeper really wants to come to Celtic, the Cork-born lad, will he join Adam Ida and Liam Scales at Celtic? Will the Irish connection get even bigger next year? That would be fantastic to hear about and see. But as it stands just now, we have a fantastic keeper in position. And if Kelleher was to come, what about Sinisalo? Because he was brought in with one eye being the next first choice keeper. So it's going to be an interesting scenario. It is going to be an interesting scenario if it does play out. But it's a long time away. But the fact that Kelleher's looks to be running down his contract, which runs out on the 30th of June 2026. It's an interesting one to keep an eye on. A lot of people wanted Celtic to go for him just last summer. But anyway, Dundee United, who do you think will play this weekend? Well, Brendan Rodgers will be in the hot seat today talking about injuries. There are quite a few players injured. Tony Ralston was wheeled out to the press yesterday to talk about everything Celtic and talk about Kieran Tierney, the story that is not going away. We're not going to cover that today because I think we've covered that enough over the last couple of days. But will it or won't it story for Kieran Tierney? Well, we'll just wait and see with that. No idea what the team will be today, this weekend, because let's face it, there is a few people carrying knocks after the game at the weekend, and they're still talking about that penalty. Yes, you would never have thought that they had 5 other penalties in that game, and they missed one. But yes, they're still talking about that one penalty. Yes, but they had 5 other opportunities to score penalties. Greedy sods, aren't they? Anyway, on that note, we just keep on doing what we do, and that's carrying on winning. Same way we decide. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.